The terminal buzz of the usual chaos, rolling suitcases, half-spoken phone calls, and the distant echo of boarding announcements. Gate 47A, Flight 328 to New York. Among the travelers waiting to board was Aaliyah Grant, a poised 24-year-old with soft curls, designer sunglasses, and a calm grace that carried quiet confidence. She wasn't famous, not yet, but she came from a name that turned heads in every boardroom in America. Her father, Darius Grant, was one of the wealthiest black entrepreneurs in the country, the founder of Grant Aerospace, a global aviation company that designed and maintained aircraft for half the airlines in the U.S. The very plane she was about to board, it was one of theirs. But Aaliyah didn't flaunt her name. She booked her ticket online like everyone else. No assistance, no entourage, just herself, heading to New York to surprise her father on his birthday. When boarding began, she smiled politely at the attendants, handed over her ticket, and stepped into first class. Seat 2A, window seat, peaceful, except someone was already sitting there, a middle-aged white woman in pearls and a navy blazer. She looked up only briefly as Aaliyah stopped in front of her. "Excuse me," Aaliyah said gently. "I think you might be in my seat, 2A." The woman didn't even look at the ticket Aaliyah held. She just smiled with a certain kind of coldness. "I don't think so, sweetheart. Maybe you're mistaken. Coach is back there." She pointed behind her, without even turning around. The air seemed to freeze for a second. A few passengers nearby shifted uncomfortably, glancing up from their phones. Aaliyah kept her composure. "No, ma'am. This is my seat. Here's my boarding pass." She handed it to the flight attendant, approaching with a forced smile. Before the attendant could check, the woman in pearls leaned closer. "Listen, honey," she whispered, her tone dripping with arrogance. "I fly this route all the time. I know they don't usually upgrade people like you. You should be grateful to even be on this flight." The words hit like a slap, quiet but cruel, and for a moment, Aaliyah just stood there, her calm turning into something sharper. The attendant glanced between them and hesitated. "Ma'am," she said to the older woman, "she is assigned to 2A. You're actually in 2B." The woman scoffed. "That's ridiculous. I requested the window. I'm not moving. Maybe she can just sit somewhere else." The murmurs grew louder. A man in row 3 whispered to his wife. A teenager across the aisle pulled out his phone, recording. Aaliyah inhaled slowly. She'd learned something from her father. Never lose your composure in front of arrogance. But before she could speak, another flight attendant came over. "Ma'am, please just take your seat in 2B so we can finish boarding." The woman refused. "This is harassment. I'm a loyal customer. I've never been treated this way. She probably doesn't even belong here." Aaliyah stepped back. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned. "I belong here just as much as anyone else. And for the record, I don't need upgrades. My family owns this aircraft model." The attendant blinked, confused. The woman laughed mockingly. "Sure you do, sweetheart. And I suppose your daddy's the president too." Aaliyah gave a small smile, not angry, just sad. "No, my father's Darius Grant." The entire row went silent. Even the captain's door cracked open slightly. One of the flight attendants gasped. "Grant, as in Grant Aerospace?" Aaliyah nodded softly. Before anyone could respond, her phone buzzed. A message from her father. "Safe travels, princess. You're flying on one of our new engines today. Be proud." The woman's face was pale now, but the situation was about to get worse. For her, moments later, a voice came through the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're going to experience a short delay before takeoff. Please remain seated." The attendants whispered nervously to each other. Then one walked up to Aaliyah. "Miss Grant, your father just called the airline directly. He wants to confirm your comfort and safety before we depart." The woman in pearls turned crimson. "Wait, what? You called your daddy on me?" Aaliyah didn't respond. She didn't have to. The captain stepped out of the cockpit, removing his hat. "Miss Grant," he said respectfully. "Mr. Grant personally called our headquarters. He's requested a full report on this incident before this flight departs. The woman stammered. I didn't mean anything by it. But it was too late. The captain looked to security. Ma'am, please gather your belongings. You'll be rebooked on the next available flight. A ripple of gasps moved through the cabin. The arrogant smirk that once sat on her face had vanished completely. As the woman was escorted out, the captain turned back to Aaliyah. Miss Grant, please take your seat. We'll depart once you're comfortable. Aaliyah sat down in 2A, gazing quietly out the window. The hum of the engines filled the silence. Before takeoff, the pilot made one final announcement. We apologize for the delay, folks. But today's reminder is simple. Respect should always fly first class. The cabin erupted in quiet applause. Aaliyah smiled faintly, slipping her phone into her bag. She wasn't proud because her father was powerful. She was proud because he raised her to know her worth, even when others tried to take it from her. As the plane ascended into the clouds, one thought lingered in every passenger's mind. Arrogance might buy a ticket, but respect, that's what truly earns a seat.